She was very friendly. Kind of loud, boisterous laugh, where she'd have the customers laughing and she'd be laughing.
She got a scholarship to go to college paid for by one of her teachers in high school. He paid for it all.
I got a degree in human development, and so I was going to get my degree to work towards being able to do education for preschoolers.
And she graduated college, and then American Airlines offered her a job, so she went to American Airlines.
She was smart, and those of us who were beginners kind of asked her often for help when we ran into trouble.
She married this guy, and he had been in prison, was out of prison, and he was holding down a job.
Melinda was just head over heels in love with him.
They had a baby, Amina.
Once my daughter was born, it got more stressful because he would never be home, and then I found out that he was cheating on me again with his baby's mother. And I was talking to this crackhead that he was dealing to, and she was like, well, we should get her. I was crying and upset, and then we started just talking about it. My plan was just to have him beat her up, punch her in the stomach because she was pregnant. What I thought with what was his son, when she got home, she called the Tucson Police Department, and then she called me again, and I'm like, oh my God, what? She's like, well, I don't want to do it. I have some guy that'll do it for you. I met him at in a parking lot and gave him some drugs. When I was talking to the informant, I got out the truck and they arrested me right there.
Completely out of character for her. Whether it was postpartum depression, there was just no prior record. There wasn't anything. It had been on the front page of all the papers, and it was called Murder for Hire.
It was a sexy case in the newspaper. The prosecutor could have charged this as a solicitation. She was charged with conspiracy to commit first-degree murder. If she had been charged with solicitation to commit first-degree murder, she would have been subjected to a much lower sentencing range.
She's not totally innocent, but the punishment certainly doesn't fit the crime.
Her sentence is life with the possibility of release eligibility at 25 years.
No one is above the law, no one is below the law, and we're going to enforce the law, and Americans should remember that if we're going to have law and order.
As all of you know, crime today is an American epidemic.
Never again should Washington put politics and party above law and order.
Truth in sentencing was actually something that was adopted in Arizona in the early 90s. It was kind of this push with the tough on crime to say people have to serve at least 85% of their sentence. Since 1980, the population in Arizona has about doubled. The prison population has quadrupled.
Amina has really not ever lived with her mother. I mean, the statistics are deplorable about what happens to the child if mom and dad are both sent up. It's almost as if the child doesn't have a chance in hell.
When she finally came to see me for the first time, she was almost 2 years old.
She thought the orange uniform, the orange, might be scaring her, but yet she would go up to other inmates, hug and kiss them and squeeze them, but she wouldn't do it to her mother.
I put out my arms and I said, oh, Amina, come here. And she looked at me and she turned and ran in the other direction, and it just broke my heart.
She misses her little girl. They've done a good job of integrating Melinda into Amina's life and keeping her active and even moving up here so they could be closer for visitation.
She really wants me at home, though. Just this past weekend, she was crying, telling me she wishes I was home because she knows that she would be better in school because she would be able to read better and I would be able to help her with her math because that's what I do in here. I'm a teacher's aide.
All her students love her. They don't want her to leave.
There are countless number of young women who've gotten their GEDs because of her.
I like to teach, and I feel like God has a purpose for me, and I think one of those purposes for me being here is to teach others, to help people, to help them get out and be productive members of society, even though I can't.
I want to go traveling with her, and so she can see the world.
My daughter and my mom are my main motivation. I know I have to be an example for my daughter, and I want to be there for her to talk to and for her to look to if she needs me. So those are the things that really keep me motivated.